Okay, guys, welcome to the second episode of this series dedicated to the Panga. The Panga, the final name of the Panga, Danny, will be Panga Express or Express Panga?
No, Extreme Pangas.
Extreme Panga. Okay, guys, this is the name of this Panga, Extreme Panga. This series of video is dedicated to the Panga 14 feet. In the future, Danny is preparing the molds for the Panga 2024, no, Danny?
22.
Wow, this is a big boat. Okay, this is the second episode. In this episode, we are going to continue with the plug. And we are going to start with the modification in the plug, but I want that Danny explain what will be the content of this second episode. What is the content, Danny?
Well, the second episode, we're going to show you after we reinforce the plug inside the old mold. Remember, the old mold is the original boat, so we just strengthen it. So when we pop it out, it doesn't change its form. So in this video here, we actually show you the process of extracting the plug out of the old mold. And then once we extract that, then we destroy the old mold, and then we make all the modifications to this thing we're popping out. When you watch the video, that plug that pops out, we'll make those modifications. Once we're satisfied with the modifications that we've made, then we're going to make a mold out of that plug.
Oh, wonderful, wonderful. Danny, a plug created like this plug with this quality material that you use it in this mold. Well, how many holes you think you can create with that mold?
Well, with the mold, the way we made it, once you see it completely done, I bet you we can produce about 400 boats.
Oh, wow. This is a big number, no? This is a big number. Okay, and you think that at the end of this year, 2023, you have the first boat finished?
I think by July this year, we'll be sea trial on the first with you, me, and the videos. We're gonna do a video of our first sea trial trip. And we're going to take data. We're going to do a 57-mile run and see how much fuel we burn in the 57. We're going to do a video of weighing the boat the way it is, weighing the people that are going on the boat and the fuel, so we can calculate how much fuel we burned on the trip.
Oh, wow. That'll
be a future video.
Great. Okay, guys, I hope you enjoyed this second episode related with the Panga created for real loco marine. Thank you, guys. So
right now we're going to blue dye the top to see the imperfections, so we don't want to trash this up yet, because what happens then, there's more stuff for us to sand. Alright, so we're going to use blue dye. The blue dye we're using is this. And this is going to show us all the imperfections. So I'm just going to... Why'd you tape all this off on the bottom? We don't want to screw up the bottom for right now. We want to work on the top, and then once we're done with the top, we can work on the bottom. If not, then it'll be too much for us to sand. it by hand because this shows us the low spots and the high spots. If you come here, you see the dark spots are the low spots. And these are the normal low spots. If you run your hand, you feel all the dimples. All these are low spots. All these, and this all has to be all faired and faired in, so it's all even. So that way, when you look at this boat, it's perfectly. There's no. You put your hand across it, you won't feel any dimples. Right now, you feel dimples. All the low spots have dimples. You ran your hand through, you would feel them all. So by him block sanding it, he does it with a second coat of blue dye by hand, and then it shows all the imperfections. These are all the imperfections in the hull. This is something that we're all going to fix. So when we're done with this, we're going to make some modifications in the back, and we're going to make some modifications in the flare as well to make it a little bit sharper. That gives it a better ride and cuts the water a little bit better. So there's going to be some modifications that we're going to do to this. Remember, this is a hull out of an old mold we had. Then we took the hull, put it back in there, reinforced it like in the previous videos, and now what we're doing is we're going to take this hull that we have, turn it into a plug, and fix all the imperfections. So he still needs to sand in here. He's going to sand, and you're going to see all the imperfections. Okay? Okay, so here we are making the modifications to the hull. So basically, we got to make sure the hull's level. So the hull's level, and then now we're fixing all the reparation. Like this was too low, and then it was like this. So now we build it up high, so it sits in the middle to make this perfectly straight. And now we look. It goes it's all perfect, little by little, all the way to the very end. And if you take the measurement here and the measurement here, it's the same measurement. That's how you make the mold perfect. And now, in the future videos, we're going to be doing some modifications to the tunnel to give it a little bit more lift and a little bit more speed. And so right now, we're fixing all the imperfections. Still got a lot of work to do because all that has to be leveled out, like we're doing down there. And then we fill all the high and low spots, which you can see the low spots are the dark spots. This we just put on, we're building it up to straighten the edges, to make the edges perfect. So Carlito's gonna hold the, so there's no, all the gap is the same all the way around. We have to do that to the whole chime on the outside. And on the inside, we're gonna do a completely new modification that hopefully it pans out. So we just wanted to show you this step, and so you see the process of making the plug perfect. So we took an old existing hull and it was good, and then we modified it. We made modifications to this. Once the modifications are done, then we're going to make a mold out of it, and then we start producing boats. But everything has to be done on the plug first before you can go further to go to make the mold, because every defect that's on here will show up on the mold, and then every boat you build will have that same defect. So you want to make no defects whatsoever, and this is why we're taking the time we're doing to make this right. All right, so we're back to the plug. So basically we showed you how we did the levels to make sure everything is leveled. So we have filled everything up. Oops. And it's perfectly leveled. So everything's leveled, and then we took measurements, and we measured and made a line with tape. Okay, so we did all the line. It goes all the way to here. And then you remember the dark spots, well, we filled them in, we sanded it, and we blue dyed it again. So now there's no more low spots. There's a couple more here and there, but that's not a major deal, because now we're gonna use all fair to fair it to make it all even. and that's going to be for our plug, so that way we have a perfect dimensions. And what the tape does, if you didn't put the tape there, what would happen would be is that then this will be all out of, instead of being straight now, it's going to be lumpy, because this, when you peel the tape, then all you got to do is sand it, and you got the perfect line with the tape. That's the reason for the tape. And so, and you can see how he's doing little measurements. I don't know if you can see it there. You can see the pencil marks. Okay, those measurements is the width. So we make the measurements here, and then we duplicate it on the other side. So he's writing the measurements on there, so we can duplicate on both sides.
¿Qué cambia? Termina.
See, it gets wider and it gets smaller and it gets a little bit narrower. So that's what we're making the line, to make it narrow, so it kind of like comes and coincides. And we do the same thing so it matches evenly all the way around. And that's what we're doing now. We'll take videos once we start doing the all fair, and when we start doing the modifications for the little tunnel that we have here. Again, we're going to get rid of the squareness, and it's going to be perfectly symmetrical. Okay, that's the goal. So you can see he's doing all his measurements, writing the measurements down, drawing everything out. Everything has to be measured, remeasured, if you want a perfect boat. And now we're doing the inside. The measurement from here to here is identical. The measure from here to here is identical. So that's what we're doing. Make it all identical. Okay, so here we are back from when you saw the previous videos that we did the sanding. So now, in order to make the line perfectly symmetrical all the way through, if you notice, you have some areas that need to be filled in. So we're going to show you the measurement. The measurement has to be from the tip of that tape to the other tip of the tape, and you have to make the tape. The tape is kind of what guides you in the fill in. So since if you look at it, you can see some on the inside is a little bit crooked. So the only way we can make it straight is to make a superficial line with a lot of tape. Some tapes have like 3 layers, and then there's other tape like this that has a lot of layers. And the reason we do that, because the distance is too close, you don't need as much tape. But if it's too far, you need to add tape up to compensate, so the measurement from here goes to here is symmetrically. So that way this is symmetrically all the way down. And then basically then when we do the redesign, after we do that, we do the redesign, and then we'll make the tunnel. But first, see, you don't have a lot of tape here, but you can see all the lines. See, you see the white lines. Remember the pencil marks that we made last time? That was our guide to put the line for the tape, so we can make this perfectly symmetrical on both sides. So from each end of each tape is exactly alike all the way, and then it builds up, and it finally fares in to 0. And 0 means that it's completely flat with the boat. So now we're going to throw 77 on top of the tape to start filling in like gaps. And I'm just using this as an example. You can see the gaps in there. So that gets all filled up, and that tape gives you the line. So it fills up and leaves you the line, so the measurements never change. This is the master. This is your master to make the changes. So you'll see this in the next couple of videos. So on the previous video, I told you we're going to use AP077 or P77. That's what it looks like. It's a paste. He puts a hardener in it, and then he mixes it up. And this P77 dries fast, so you have to apply it right away. So he made that squeegee you see there. That squeegee is going to be for that side of the boat, and then he has to make a squeegee for this side of the boat to do this boat, because the angles. Okay, because the angles, remember, the angle is different heading in one direction, that angle's hanging in the other direction, so you have to make the squeegee so it forms for that side, you make one form for this side. Now he gets his squeegee. The squeegee he made just for that side is for that side. He's grabbing all the corners off the tape. See, what's nice is when he peels the tape off, that comes off, and then you don't have to sand those areas down because the tape protects it. Okay, so now the 77 is getting hard. It's not 100% hard. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna get a rag, put acetone before it completely cures, and we're gonna take the excess off. And right now he's making that same squeegee that he made is for that particular side. He's just putting new tape on it so it doesn't stick. So there's the acetone in his hand. He's gonna put it on the rag. And now he's gonna put it on the squeegee. Remember, the 77 hasn't fully hardened yet. Then he puts more acetone and saturates it pretty good. And then he takes the squeegee and he rubs. You see all the garbage on there. That's taking the excess to make everything smooth. And that's it. And you wait for it now to cure 100%, and then we do the other side. So back to the process we're making the mold. See, that's only the first hand. But you see, it's not 100% perfect. So we're not gonna give any sanding. We're just gonna put another layer to fill in all those pieces. You never get it on the first try. Sometimes it takes 3 times. Hopefully we get it done in 1. But see the tape, you see the groove in the tape, that has to be perfectly flush to the other side. See, the other side's flush, somewhat to a degree, but this side's not. So this is why it's important. That's why it's important that you fix this, because if not, you'll see this in every mold. Every boat that you build will have that same defect. We're trying to make a boat that's perfectly with no defects. Okay, so the squeegee, if you notice when he made the squeegee, this squeegee, it doesn't perfectly seal and make it perfect. But if you see the other one, it's perfect because he made the wood to make that form. That's why we use the wood squeegee, not this squeegee. And he puts tape so he can keep using that squeegee and not have to make it, because once that 77 gets hard, basically you cannot use that squeegee anymore, and you have to make a new squeegee every time. All right, so we're using a blue hardener to make the 77 instead of white blue, so we can find all the little defects with the white. This is what we're applying the second coat. It's to find what we missed, because you never get it all the first time. So that's why we have, if you look right there, he has the blue hardener to make it a different color so we can identify where we need to fill. Now he takes his wood squeegee, and the wood squeegee, you see how much more material it picks up, because it doesn't bend. This has the same curvature as the bottom of that chime, in order to get a perfect fit. Squeegee bends it and it messes it up. Now here you have it with a proper squeegee. So now, like with the previous one when we did the acetone, we do the acetone again before it gets completely hard to give it a fine smooth finish. So now we're ready to do the other side, but now you see how it's pink, right? So this was white, and now we're using pink. The differences in colors, and see how the tape protects. If this got on here, then you have to sand it, and you ruin the design that you have on it. Remember, every time you sand something, you're taking material away. So you try to avoid as much sanding on the areas that you've already fixed to avoid that.